Morning, everyone. It's 8:40 on Monday, the 19th of April. And there's a fair amount of news around, including some earnings. But let's start with Asia being up and India being down. Asia is up on economics. India is down on COVID. And, I hate to harp on it, but we're nowhere near through with COVID or the variants or infection surges as we have all around the world, including here. Johnson & Johnson was mentioned over the weekend. Dr. Fauci was on all of the Sunday morning shows, and his reassurance is not terribly reassuring. He didn't say that Johnson & Johnson was okay. He said it probably will be reinitiated at the end of the week. So not exactly a ringing endorsement, only because of the narrowness of who's involved. But you can probably, he intimated that you can probably figure on there being some restrictions. Peloton, Consumer Safety Division, warns that homes with Peloton treadmills should not be used. They don't go into the safety, or at least it was just a headline when I looked at it on the corporate news, but I'm sure we'll hear more about that. Peloton is down about $8 or $9. But the market is also down, so I'm not sure that really has anything to do with it. Tesla had a terrible crash outside of Houston over the weekend, and it turns out that there was literally no one at the wheel. So there's discussion about the testing of autonomous and how safe it is. Tesla was down 2.5% at 721, down 19. Roblox, which was a new issue recently, came out and said that they are putting out ratings on games. Nothing overwhelming there. China's rideshare, DiDi, DIDI, said that it is in a partnership with Volvo to create also autonomous ride sharing. On the earnings front, the big gainer so far has been Harley-Davidson, HOG. It was on my list of stocks to watch. I didn't realize it had earnings this morning. It is not a buy up here, I don't think. The stock is 43, up 262, or 6.5%. Coke beat both top and bottom line. Being the stodgy old company that it is, it's up 1.3% at 54.30, up 70. Two banks, MTB, beat top line and bottom line. Also kind of stodgy and old, 154.50, up 62 cents, or 0.4%. And ONB missed on revenues, beat on earnings. That didn't seem to bother anyone. It's 1986, up 72, or 3.7%. Coinstar, more news. The CEO, it turns out, sold almost $300 million worth of stock opening day. And Kathy Woods over at ARC added on Friday again. IBM reports after the close today. That's, as I've mentioned, a perennial disappointer. So we'll see how that works out. As far as the futures, the Dow is down about 70, NASDAQ down about 60, S&P down about 10. Only one I want to really mention here is that the S&P is about 15% away from its 200-day MA, and that tends to be an area not necessarily of reversals, but of a flattening out. And if you've watched the S&P in the last 2 or 3 weeks, you'll notice that its rate of ascent has been a touch excessive. Okay, so the chart on the screen is Bitcoin. It is down almost 5,000 this morning. It was actually lower overnight. And the only disturbing thing about this is the fact that it left a gap here and moved to the downside. This is not an unusual move for it. Price-wise, it's just that it tends to trade lower as opposed to gapping lower. I guess, with gaps to the upside, here, here, again here, you have to be expecting that there'll also be gaps to the downside, and that's what we have today. There's some talk around about the fact that people are looking into it for money laundering, etc. This is not a new story, but when something goes from 20,000 to 65,000 in a matter of months, these are the kind of drops that you get. All right, everyone, have a good day. Be careful out there. I did put out a list of stocks that I'm watching. The only one I would caution you on is Harley Davidson, HOG, because it reported this morning, as I said, and it's up almost $3. So that's not something I would chase here. Have a good morning, and don't forget to subscribe.